Well, thank you, James. I've watched this a few times. We're going to go through it again, but like you said, I think we can chalk it up, spoiler, to being just a freak thing that can always happen every single time you're involved in any kind of physical activity, as far as working out, being in the ring, or anything else. So let's take a look at this. And yeah, right off the bat, right there. Yeah, she gets right to the rope. So I'm going to go right to the replay here. She's holding her shoulder. Now, with her hair here, I can't really see if it's kind of pushed forward or dislocated forward or something. It looks like it's the side delt or the front delt or both. Well, obviously the rotator cuff in that joint that's been dislocated. Let's go to the slow motion here. Dude, I got nothing on that. See, that's what I mean? Here's the thing. She did everything right. She's trying to break her fall she's taking a face bump. And what you do for a face bump is obviously more times than not, unless you're Bubba Ray Dudley, who takes probably the best face bumps in the history of the business, where it probably knocks himself silly, you put these hands in front of you. And when you have long hair, you can mask that your face is not hitting the mat. Now, when I looked at this closely, I'm looking for, is there anything in this mat, like a board that's loose where it just kind of shifted or anything like that? There's nothing. This mat is taut. There's no loose points. I can't see a board popping up. I can't see anything where she puts her hand down here where it looks like, all I can think of is this. And she's probably done this a million times. When your elbow hits down like this, could that be the part that pops the shoulder out? So I don't know the exact diagnosis. I saw in the show notes, she needs surgery. So this thing is definitely, now this is on the other end. This is connected to that John Moxley lawsuit where I said real violence, real injuries are never going to look as impressive nor larger than life than what we're watching right here. This is so innocuous and just the same bump she's done a million times. But I can tell you this, the second she took it, she went right to the ropes. I'm not even saying sell, I'm saying ropes and not selling off and not begging off, like over the top. It's literally, I grab my shoulder, I'm selling, that's it. So people knew something was wrong right away. I just don't. Carrie didn't do anything wrong. Liv didn't do anything wrong. It's literally just. And the weird thing is, like, the first thing you think of as a worker, being you watching a bunch of this stuff, or even the fans, what do you think once you see a replay? It's a work. Why are they replaying it? Usually on a real injury, they're just cutting, they're going to the back, they're sending somebody down. In a multi-person match, they're going to rely on the remaining people to finish the match. What was the injury? What was the injury not too long ago where the girl slid out and they continued the match?
Oh, Zoe Stark.
Zoe Stark.
Also featuring Kairi Sane.
Good Lord, this girl has really got a feel. She just came back. That was her first match. This is technically like her second or third match, right?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, so Kairi Sane was the one who, there was a bit of a timing issue where she either didn't turn around quick enough or Zoe Stark jumped off the ropes a bit too quickly, but there was a timing snafu.
You shouldn't be running and then meeting, especially your first match back. You should just stand there. But then again, Dakota Kai got knocked out standing there waiting for the drop kick. So maybe she was just trying to run into it to resist the drop kick. Now, I'm pointing this out right here because this is how I would face bump or take DDTs. She's putting her knee in front. She's putting both her forearms in front. She's doing everything she can to protect her face, her nose, her neck, things like that. So she's done everything right. It's actually a cool takedown here too, if you think about it, kind of like the stretch muffler, except you're not picking them up. You're doing like a fireman's carry face bump thing down to here. it emphasizes the fact that this is a very dangerous thing. The don't try this at home thing is not just for a PSA. It's not just for we have to do it legally because what was the Lionel Tate thing where the kid did something to his brother, ended up killing him. That's all part of it. But it really is because you can get hurt on the simplest. You can run the ropes, do your tackle, drop down, hip toss, roll your ankle, break your ankle, be out for 6 months. This is not ballet. It is not supposed to be something that is, they make it look easy, but this shows that this is not easy to do. And you can get seriously hurt. And creatively, this is where like you start to look at things and it might, right now, like afterwards, it might not be the right time to bring it up. But right now, this might be not such a terrible thing. Hopefully she recovers, the shoulder fully heals. But creatively, Liv can come back and be fresh again. She's been all over TV for months, if not years. And now the Judgment Day stuff's starting to get a little bit stale, maybe a lot stale to some people. So her going away for a while and coming back could actually help her career. But this isn't the way I would want anyone to do it. But it's a freak accident. Nothing went wrong. Nobody did anything wrong. And thank God, you know what? The one thing I was holding my breath when I watched this, please don't finish the match. Please don't get back in there. Because you know what a worker thinks? Well, Carrie's working my left arm or my leg. I can still work. I can just roll around. Because every time she bumps, it's going to pop. Every time she bumps, a tendon, ligament, or even a muscle could tear. So good on them for just ending the match. And that's something about current wrestling that I'm glad they trend in that direction. Because in my era and the eras before, you're hurt anyway. Finish the match.
Mike Johnson from PW Insider said that Liv Morgan's separated shoulder will require surgery, and they've learned it from multiple sources that she's going to be missing a decent amount of time. I've heard 4 to 6 months potentially. Because with shoulder separations, I guess it very much depends on what kind of separation it is, or if it happens frequently, if you can pop it back in or not. But essentially, it's the worst kind of injury of that. Thankfully, I've never dislocated anything. Have you dislocated anything, and how does it feel compared to a bone break or a ligament tear?
Oh, I've dislocated lots of body parts, including my shoulder, but I feel like this is a little bit worse than that, or a lot worse. If it requires surgery, it's a torn rotator cuff or a torn something in the shoulder. If you just separate your shoulder and it gets put back in, there's obviously going to be discomfort, pain, healing time. Sometimes could take longer, just like with a sprained ankle, it could take longer than a broken ankle to heal because there's all these different sorts of trauma to the tendons, ligaments, and muscles rather than just a regular bone break, unless you have a compound fracture, multiple parts of the foot or the ankle, things like that. That's why a torn Achilles tendon is like a year to 2 years for football players, as opposed to like breaking a leg is like 6 to 8 weeks sometimes. I think she tore a rotator cuff or something worse than that. Because if you need surgery and it's going to be worst case scenario, that's the way it's described, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm guessing torn rotator cuff.
It seems that separated shoulders and freak injuries happen fairly often, and we're not even talking about, you accidentally put your arm out and you land the wrong way. I mean, there was Randy Orton famously when he was doing the RKO thing and he punched the mat or the microphone.
Again, I lost. Yeah.
And Sami Zayn, he punched the air and dislocated his shoulder.
Is that when he came out to wrestle Cena on his debut match on Raw?
Is that the one?
He got injured during that match. He got injured during that match.
Yeah, I remember it was a while ago. Yeah.
Was it when he hit the steps or something with his hand?
No, I thought he did that or something, or cheered. And
he definitely got hurt in that Cena match. It was his first match on Raw, and he was just, it's a freak thing. I know some people hit the ring steps and somebody like broke a couple of their fingers hitting the ring. That's the one where like Liv and Carrie will hopefully, after it's all said and done, it's a couple of years down the road, we'll probably watch that back and laugh about it. Like, this is so silly. I've done this a million times. You know, the kind of like what they're doing in WWE now, where you rewatch the match with the opponent or an injury or stuff like that.
Well, Carrie Sane's not laughing at the moment. She's feeling rather sorry for herself as being sort of involved in all these injuries as of recent. The quote she posted on social media recently was, one of the most painful things for me is when a match is decided not by wrestling but because of an injury. I always step into the ring with deep respect for my opponent, and I train hard every day to give the audience something they can truly enjoy. Even if it was never intentional, knowing that someone was hurt in a match with me is something I carry deeply. It breaks my heart. I hope with all my heart for a full and speedy recovery. I will continue to give my all, hoping to bring excitement, not pain, to the ring.
Well, that's a way to still keep it in kayfabe, but say, you know, I don't want my opponent to be hurt like that. Yeah, I mean, she's never going to be a heel bringing excitement and not pain to the ring, but she's tough. I hate to laugh about it. You laugh about it because you just don't know what to do. I don't know how it happened. And if they're saying surgery for her, like I said, that just denotes too, you know, how I've said it before. Are these people wrestling and traveling way too much? And is their bodies breaking down to a point where little things like this are going to injure them? Like, she's been on everything for a long time. I'm sure she's carrying injuries. So maybe it's a good time for her to heal up, come back with a fresh character, and maybe come back as a babyface.
Yeah, and ironically, Liv Morgan ended up getting the biggest push of her career because Rhea Ripley ended up being injured, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, that's right. The concussion where she jumped her in the back, right?
Yeah. And then she ended up with a world title run, a Raw world title run, and then sort of made her, and then Rhea Ripley came back more popular. So I think WWE, especially in the last couple of years, if not got down to a science, Rhea Ripley, CM Punk, there are others as well who've been injured, and they've made it into a positive rather than a negative. So I think they'll probably do that with Liv as well as one of the more prominent members of that roster.
Now, let me ask you a question about that, because we're weighing creativity, storylines, people being over with the bean counters.
Mm-hmm.
So they released R-Truth. He was fine. He wasn't injured. He just came off a really great match, Saturday night's main event against Cena, carried his weight in that match. Do you think they're going to start? Because it was always a very taboo thing, except for one case that I can remember. They would never release anybody when they were injured. Never do it. Do you think there's a chance that they could do that from this point on? If she doesn't, say it takes a year or 18 months and they're like, it's taken too long, we have to release you, or we're going to cut your contract down.
I'm trying to think of the person who they released when they were injured.
Test.
Oh.
I heard it was Test. That was based on second information.
Trying to think if they've done that with anyone else.
They probably did, but maybe now, maybe developmental and not Test. But usually they'll do that. And obviously, if you get injured, like if she signed a deal and she's out for a year, now her contract gets extended for a year for the injury time, correct?
Yeah.